And welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. The president releasing a 4-minute video on Twitter tonight, blasting Congress for attempting to spend more than $2 trillion without even reading what's in both the year-end spending bill and the COVID relief package. The president ridiculing Americans getting just $600, demanding more for the people and none for special interests and foreign countries. Take a listen.
Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I am also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation.
All right, he wants to up the ante a lot. The president is angry, and millions of Americans are angry as well. And breaking tonight, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is willing to listen to the president on this. That's not a surprise. Democrats always ready to spend more money. And last night, Congress voted to send billions of your hard-earned dollars all around the world to fund things like gender programs in Pakistan and sprucing up dozens of countries that do nothing for us in return. The COVID relief bill, along with the year-end spending bill filled with all the nonsense, all got pushed through at the same time. Congress attempting to send our country further into a debt that we are never going to get out of. And while most say COVID relief is necessary, the money for Pakistan, Central America, Egypt's military, etc., that's in the year-end spending bill, frankly looks ridiculous in our current situation. Here's a current look at our finances in this country. The U.S. right now in its checking account has negative $27.5 trillion to play with. That is a heck of a number. Can you imagine your checking account looking like this? Let's say your household pulls in $100,000 a year. If you were $125,000 in debt, would you be cutting checks to help your neighbors put their kids through college? Because that's what we're doing. And today, the politicians responsible for all of this wasteful spending defended it. Here's Republican Lindsey Graham.
$680 billion of this goes to the military. Then you got to fund the FBI, Department of Homeland Security. So, yeah, there are things in there. The foreign aid budget is 1% of all American spending. Pakistan is a place I really worry about. 85 countries, a woman can't open up a bank account without her husband's signature. She can't inherit property. If you're a young girl in Pakistan, life is pretty tough. So we're trying to make life better for women throughout the world.
Now, of course, in a perfect world, women in Pakistan could open checking accounts and Central American countries would be safer, and we'd all sing Kumbaya under a rainbow every day. But guess what? The world is riddled with problems, and for some reason, we have decided it is our job to solve all these problems. Now, to be fair, money we send to other countries is a small part of our own fiscal disaster. Our real issue is domestic spending, defense, and entitlements like Medicare and Social Security. We have learned to live way beyond our means as this country has moved further and further to the left over the years. Most of our conservative leaders are no longer worthy of the title as they happily grow government and spend us into oblivion. But here's one politician that does deserve the title, Senator Rand Paul, shaming his Republican colleagues before the vote.
To so-called conservatives who are quick to identify the socialism of Democrats, if you vote for this spending monstrosity, you are no better. When you vote to pass out free money, you lose your soul and you abandon forever any semblance of moral or fiscal integrity. The deficit last year, a record-busting $3.3 trillion. If you're looking for more COVID bailout money, we don't have any. The coffers are bare. We have no rainy day fund. We have no savings account. Congress has spent all the money long ago.
Makes a good point. Rand Paul, the wet blanket that we sadly need, the voice of reason and responsibility in a Congress full of wide-eyed, spend-crazy idealists. Rand Paul voted against the COVID spending bill because we don't have any money. We don't have a rainy day fund for an emergency like this. We've wasted it all, giving out health care and Social Security to everybody over 65, spending a fortune on military to police the world, and yes, ensuring women in Pakistan can open checking accounts. But our crippling debt won't stop our fearless leaders from spending more. Globalist Joe Biden has no problem propping up the rest of the world. In a sharp contrast with President Trump, he called the COVID bill a success, and he's already talking about the next stimulus bill.
Leaders in both House and Senate, both parties, deserve credit for making the hard compromises to get this done. But like all compromises, it's far from perfect. But it does provide vital relief at a critical moment. However, as I've said all along, this bill is just the first step, a down payment, in addressing the crises, more than one, that we're in.
Spend, spend, spend. To put it frankly, our government is a bit of a joke. And as we go further and further into debt, they just spend more and more. And as we watched last night, they don't even know what they're spending it on. Here's a tweet from Congressman Chip Roy of Texas yesterday. It's 8:25 a.m. and I have not seen the text of a $2.4 trillion monster spending bill yet. Situation normal, but a majority of Republicans are poised to vote yes, and real Donald Trump will likely sign it. #swamp spending.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.